Cool. We are live. Say hi, Meghnath. Hello,
Hello,
people.
hi, hi.
Wait, let me look at the stream. Guys, if you can hear us, see us, let us know. While I don't have an starting music. We are live. Music playing and stuff. Just while we wait, I directly get into stream. We have 12 people watching us right now. So let us know if it has started for you guys. Type something in the chat. Hopefully,
It has. I'm seeing it.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't see anything. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I can see the chat. Is the chat coming on the stream also?
Hmm.
Yeah, I've never done this level of Google call. I've never organized Google Meet call with chat. Wait, why is it not scrolling? Is it not scrolling? It is scrolling.
Guys, this is what happens to OBS noob streamers, okay? Pranam is a noob.
Wait, it's what's happening? Hey, it's showing over here on OBS. It's showing.
I can see it, Pranam. Don't worry. Like
Oh yeah,
it's
it's
happening
coming. It's
properly.
coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Sorry, guys. Tech professional stream over here. Oh, by the way, I was telling Meghna the other day, we can just discuss some random stuff,
Yeah.
tell people join in. So I was telling Meghna the other day, Meghna, I don't know if you've spoken about this publicly,
Hmm.
but you told me you used to do stand up.
Yeah, I mean, used to, matlab, I tried it a few times. I won't even call it I used to do. I did like 3 attempts of going up on stage and sort of trying out some bits. Didn't work. It didn't work. And
I
then
mean,
I had a show. I had a
oh,
traveling show,
oh,
which I was taking to different colleges with the print. It was called Democracy IRL, where I took people through the first 3 chapters of the 8th grade civics book and spoke to them about democracy and what it is and parliament. So it was like a screen where I'm doing a presentation, but it is sort of like sarcastic and snarky. So
okay, okay.
it was a show.
So it was scripted,
Yeah, yeah, it
wasn't
was scripted.
improvised.
It
Okay.
was scripted.
So the reason I ask is because I also used to do stand up,
Oh wow, okay, this
and
is new.
yeah, in Bangalore. But yeah, apparently I was really bad. I could see this myself, and I just ended up quitting. Luckily, I got into another job, and things. This was 5 years ago,
Right.
and things happened smoothly. So no, I wasn't left stranded or anything because I didn't have stand up anymore. But I've noticed that it really carries over into things like live streaming.
It,
So
it, it does?
it does in the sense, I think, so I noticed that I can improvise according to the situation and
Hmm.
maybe say something humorous, maybe someone said something in chat. I can say something because what I used to do in stand up carries
Hmm.
over here. I used to improvise a bit during
Hmm.
stand up,
Hmm.
and that kind of carries over here. Have you noticed?
Actually, with live stream, my teaching experience comes more handy. So I
Oh,
have taught like in
what
a
have you
bunch of.
taught?
So I've taught few public policy courses here and there, like in like MIT, SOG in Pune, and a few times in an ISB. So like so that sort of works better. I feel like, and I've been like on and off streaming for a while, right? Like for like a few years now. I just don't put it up because I'm mostly embarrassed about my streams, but I've stopped doing that. Now all of my streams are online for people to watch the entire 2 hours of it. So yeah.
I think I should pop out this chat window
Hmm.
and I should, because the OBS chat doesn't seem to be updating.
Okay.
So I'll just,
People are saying my volume is a bit low. Is it too low?
I know. I can hear you just fine.
Huh, but then it's fine.
Or is it low on the stream?
No, no, it's fine. I think, yeah, it is low.
So I've changed the chat window over here. Oh, it's, yeah. I think this is better now. Look at the live. It's not better.
No,
It's
it's not.
updating
It's
live,
not.
I
You
feel.
messed it up a little bit.
Huh?
You messed
What?
it up. Pranav, what
What
are you
happened?
doing?
I didn't.
Now it's fine.
Yeah,
Oh,
now it's
oh yeah,
better.
there's a delay. Sorry, there's a
Yeah,
delay. That's
there's a
why I thought.
delay. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Can we answer chat for a bit
Yeah.
before getting into the actual topic? So, yeah, by the way, LiveDoc, I see a chat message from LiveDoc. Is that from LiveDoc? Or I see something about the LiveDoc and anyway, so just before this stream, me and Meghnad were listening to a Twitter Spaces event hosted by, or one of the speakers was the liver doc, and the other was some Ayurveda Vaidya.
Hmm.
And we were listening to them arguing about what are the why modern medicine and Ayurveda
Yeah.
have a difference, or what is the farak in both of them. And
Yeah.
they were both trying to make their points. So I know if anyone here came to that spaces.
That space was very very fun because there was this he was called Vaidya something, I'm
Yeah,
guessing some Ayurveda practitioner,
Vaidya
and
Omkar. Yeah,
there
yeah.
was Liver Doc, who is very notorious on Twitter for being very aggressive. He was having a debate with him, and he was trying to get him to prove whether Ayurveda is effective at all, and if there is any evidence to prove that it is effective. And what happened is that they were trying to argue with each other, and so Liverdoc was saying, "Prove to me that it's not a pseudoscience. Prove to me that it is not a pseudoscience." And the Vaidya was saying, "But if I prove it to you, you will say I can't prove it to you with your scientific methods. I will prove it to you with my scientific methods, the Ayurvedic scientific methods." Now that is where I was very confused, because he
So
kept saying words like what pitta
yeah,
and
Vata Pitta Kapha. Those are the three.
kapha. Yes, yes,
Yeah, yeah.
those,
Those are
yeah.
the three pillars of Ayurveda. Apparently, though if the human body is all made up of Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and the
Mhm.
imbalance between those three is what causes all diseases, illnesses, everything. So
Mm.
I'll talk about Vata, Pitta, Kapha, but I want to talk about this. What he said about how modern medicine works on one standard, Ayurveda works on another standard. If
Yeah.
you look at Ayurveda through the lens of modern medicine, then you'll find all these flaws. You have to see Ayurveda from the perspective of Ayurveda itself.
Ayurveda. Yeah.
The problem with that, I'll use an analogy here. So the problem with that is that you're trying to take a 1 meter scale. You're measuring your height, and
Mm.
you're saying that in India, I'm 1 meter tall. But if I go to Norway, they have a different length for the meter. So there
Mm.
I'm 3 meters tall.
Yeah.
And in Egypt, I'm 2 meters tall. It doesn't work like that. We have to all agree on one
Mm.
single way of measuring. We have to have the same
Mm.
yardstick for a measure of a length. So
And
in
I can, there's an example which I wanted to give. So this can actually be shown about how, if Ayurveda actually applies scientific methods and methodology to, like, modern science methods and methodology to actually prove that it is effective, it cannot do that. right? Because like coronel, so this is one of the stories that I had covered when the pandemic was on, right? So Baba Ramdev's Patanjali had advertised this drug wonder cure called coronel. I think you must be aware.
Yeah, I've
There was
covered it
Bhabiji
thousands
Papad
of times.
also or something, but like let's ignore that one. So what happened is, so these people, they conducted a study, quote unquote, of 120 people. They created a control group, like like you do in modern science. Gave one group medicine and one group no medicine. But the weird thing is, the group that they gave a medicine to was the only part of the result. Because what Ramdev said is that we have done 280, but in the documents itself, they had a sample of 120, right? And they had given coronel
Wait,
to
he said 220,
280 on TV, and then the study sample size was actually 120 when you actually looked at it, right? So bizarre. I mean, okay, like maybe he forgot, or maybe I don't know what he did, but whatever. So now what is happening is that for those 120 people, they didn't even do tests. So they didn't know whether they were positive or negative or whatever. And what they did was, they were like, we got symptomatic patients with mild symptoms and whatever symptoms, gave them coronal, and then they were cured. It was bizarre, because then if you had never done a test to prove they were positive, and you do a test later to prove that they're negative, it's pointless, right?
yeah.
The other
So,
thing is, they were like, we did contact tracing. So basically, they told us that they came in contact with a COVID patient, and that's why they were a part of the study. And the third thing, which was extremely amusing to see, was that um, not only did they not prove that this was not effective, but they kept a gestation period of 14 days. And if you remember, during COVID time, if you were showing symptoms, you were told to isolate for 14 days for that very reason, because the virus becomes inactive, and then you test negative, right? Then you do a test, so they did that. They were like coronal diya, and then for daily, and then for 14 days, and we were kept keeping them in isolation, and then they were cured. It was just the most bizarre study ever, right?
and also, if I remember correctly, they didn't properly study all age groups. They only did it to mostly men of a
Yeah.
particular age group.
Mm, mm,
It wasn't diverse enough,
mm.
let's say in age, in gender, in health conditions or state of health of patients. So, and this was only supposed to be a pilot study.
Hmm.
And based on this, they marketed the entire medicine.
So even that, right? So this study was done, right? And then what happened is, Baba Ramdev started going on multiple channels, news channels, and the news channels were running literal tickers like Baba Corona cure, and he was just claiming that it's a cure, right? And these anchors, they were not cross questioning him at all, right? He was saying random things. At one point, he said that don't take allopathy medicines. He used the word allopathy. I'm not using it. Don't take allopathy medicines, and you can only take coronal and you'll be cured. He did say that on a channel. And then what happened is that Ayush Ministry is the one who put a stop to it. So they were the ones who were saying ki stop saying this is a cure. There is literally no study done on this, and please don't do this. Do not say that it's a cure, and don't go on channels saying it's a cure, right? And the Indian Medical Association also created a big ruckus, and a bunch of people did.
So I have some questions. I'll come back to you on this. But first, I think let's organize this stream a little.
Yeah.
Let's go in a certain order. So I first want to talk about, so the analogy I was giving about me being 3 meters tall here, 2 meters here, and one. We can't have that. We need to have
No, we
one
don't.
single
Yeah.
standard for all for length, for
Yeah.
what we call length. Same way, we need to have one standard for how we treat someone of a certain, who has a certain health condition or disease or whatever. We can't have one standard for Ayurveda, for this school of medicine, one for this, nothing. There should be one single standard, and that standard is what we should call medicine. Now, unfortunately, we are ending up with schools of medicine who follow their own standard, and the actual standard that is supposed to be followed, we just call it modern medicine.
Right.
The ideal situation would be all schools or everyone who's practicing any school follows modern medicine
Hmm.
standards.
Hmm.
But unfortunately, the government of India or the AYUSH ministry allows, or the regulations are in such a way that they protect all the other schools. They like you don't have to prove efficacy before marketing.
Hmm.
I showed the
Hmm.
law in the
Hmm.
video. I have a video on Ayush
Hmm.
ministry on my main channel. I showed the exact law in which they say you don't need to show proof of efficacy,
Hmm.
you don't need to show proof of safety. You can market it without this because apparently these medicines or these ingredients have proved their safety and efficacy, having been in use for thousands of years. That's how
Right.
the law is kind of devised.
Hmm. Hmm.
So,
So it's all anecdotal evidence,
yeah, yeah.
basically.
It's based on trial and error evidence.
Hmm.
Uh,
Which is not scientific.
and the reason for that is because if you do basic trial and error, you're not accounting for biases, you're not
Yeah.
accounting for placebos,
Hmm.
placebo effect, you're not accounting for testing on all kinds of patients of different
Hmm.
ages, genders, health conditions, all these things. Trial and error means you just give the person what you think is the medicine and you see if that person recovers or not.
Hmm.
That's the basic trial and error. And based on that, we have data from thousands of years. So we cannot directly invalidate all this data, but this data is nowhere near enough for proving efficacy of a medicine.
But the thing is, I was also thinking about this, right? So like, let me also like say some things that Vaidya was saying that on that call, right? So he was trying to explain this whole pitta, whatever, like four words that he used in quick conjunction. Uh, that is the way we actually judge the efficacy of an Ayurveda treatment, by those four. Again, I don't remember what he said. Like, he said it so fast. What was it, Pranav? Pitta,
Vata, Pitta,
Vadha,
Kapha.
what?
Vata, Pitta,
Huh?
Kapha.
Huh. What are, I don't know what those are, right? Pitta, I know, is I think a hormone
They
or
say so. Apparently, if you ask Ayurved, what is the physical representation, or how can you, what is Vata physically? They
huh?
won't have an answer.
But what
Apparently,
is
it's
it?
some
Like, what are these three things as defined by Ayurveda?
apparently it's some spiritual idea. Vata is just a spiritual idea. It's
Okay,
apparently made of the earth element and the wind element or something. I have to check again. And
okay.
even Pitta and even Kapha is like that. They're all spiritual ideas, philosophical ideas.
Oh,
They don't physically manifest in the body in any form. Like if you
okay.
ask what is Vata to any Ayurved, he'll give you an answer that's mostly philosophical,
Huh.
but he won't be able to tell you what exactly Vata is in the body.
Okay, fair
So,
enough. I mean, like, yeah. So,
yeah,
so essentially, they're like ephemeral concepts which you have to just get
yeah,
in
yeah,
in a spiritual sense.
yeah. So the
Like
problem is that
love. What is love, Pranav? We don't know.
you bring okay. I wanna talk about love, but I think we're going on many tangents if we go into that right now. Like you can ask this question: can you physically measure love? That's a good question to ask.
Precisely that, right? Which
Yeah,
is,
that's
it's
a
a
good question to
feeling.
ask.
Yeah.
But let's get into that
Hmm.
later on in the conversation. Otherwise, if we go into this tangent, we won't get to the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
So the thing is that this Vata Pitta Kapha
Hmm.
theory is
Hmm.
completely debunked. It's
Right.
not. It's not the way the world works.
Hmm.
It doesn't represent anything in reality. Uh, People in other parts of there are people in other parts of the world that have never even heard of this. So
Right.
how can you use this method of treatment on everyone
Hmm.
universally? How can you
Hmm.
do it? So the problem with alternative medicines is that the yardstick they use
Hmm.
is different from modern medicine, and you can't
Right.
have different yardsticks for different schools of medicine, because
Hmm.
there's only one human body, there's only
Hmm.
one mechanism for a particular disease. So treatment must also be the same, must be the same universally. If
Hmm.
you have different treatments for the same disease, how does that even make sense? Is
No, absolutely. And that's what I think the liver doctor was also saying, right?
Yeah.
In hepatitis, when you get like certain symptoms, there are different forms of hepatitis. So, like, can you say that Ayurveda cures hepatitis, but like, then there does it cure liver disease? So, it's like a different thing. Medicines are different for a bunch of things. So, I agree. There's this very fun comment that came, which is explaining what this is. Can I
Okay.
read it?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Uh,
Who
अरे
said
यार
it? I'll highlight it here.
It's Karthik Lagwankar.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
Uh,
highlighted.
it's so he says Vata, space and air governs movement. Pitta, fire and water regulates metabolism, and Kapha, air, earth and water manages assimilation in the body.
See, notice how those statements say Vata governs this, not
Yeah,
Vata is this. And
right.
same thing with Pitta regulates this.
Huh,
Pitta is, I'm looking for what is Pitta, not what Pitta does.
right.
Right,
Hmm.
so that's how they try and get by when they try and get out of these questions you ask them.
Yeah.
So and by the way, Meghnad, I think we are just talking to each other and not looking at chat.
Haha, I'll
So
look at chat, Pranav. Don't worry. I'll look at chat.
I think there are enough people in the stream right
Haha.
now, so we should look at the chat. I think someone was asking in the beginning. I think I should talk about this comment. It came before we started the
Mm-hmm.
stream also. He's like, why you talking about this? You've said this enough times. Like, why you making another stream or
Hmm.
podcast on the same topic? So I
What was
think
the topic though? The Ayush ministry you have done that one video on, right? Other than that, have you done anything else?
I've done some podcasts on the main channel. I've done
Ah.
other videos on just Ayurveda, what
Hmm.
actually the theory of Ayurveda says. And I've done another video on how testing is meant to be done.
Right.
So those are the other videos. They're all different. I would never repeat the same content. But I
Sure.
feel, even though this is such an important thing, so see, other forms in which you can see pseudoscience, let's
Hmm.
say if it's astrology or if it's Vastu Shastra, they don't do direct, uh, d- let's say, harm to anyone.
Hmm.
But Ayurveda or pseudoscientific medicine, and
Hmm.
I always point out Ayurveda because the average Indian has this sort of trust or belief in Ayurveda. Like,
Yeah.
any product that's marketed as Ayurvedic,
Hmm.
they automatically trust it. So I feel this message is not reaching enough people to where people are like, this is something in common discourse.
But
That's
also another
that's
thing
wait,
that
wait, wait.
yeah.
That's why I want to keep doing these streams. It's even though I might have made some of these
Hmm.
points somewhere else, it's something I feel like I need to keep repeating over and over again, because the message is not reaching enough people.
So I'll add another layer to this, right? So one of the reasons why you should do this is because it causes actual harm. right? Like we saw that Vaidya fellow trying to prove that it is effective, but then finally he came to a point where he said, oh, actually we also use modern medicine with the
Mm.
Ayurveda sometimes to cure something. That's just ridiculous then, right? So the other point though, which I think also people don't talk about, is this is one pseudoscience that has direct support of the government. Taxpayer money is being spent on this pseudoscience, and that is worrying, right? Like, so if you have, so what your channel essentially does is you prove that it is a pseudoscience, like, so Ayush specifically, Ayurveda, yoga, what is it, Unani, Siddhi, and
Siddha and
homeopathy,
homeopathy.
right? So those are the ones, and now they've added an extra etc also, like, because they will just assimilate more later.
Yeah.
So Ayush, as these five stand, are all have no studies done on them, like about the efficacy, right? Like, I mean, or if studies have done, they have not proven it yet.
And when we say studies, we should mean randomized control trials that are peer
RCTs,
reviewed. Because
absolutely.
anyone can do a study.
Yeah.
Like I can just write a PDF document saying
Mm.
I gave this concoction to 25 people and these are the results.
Hmm.
Anyone can make a PDF,
Yeah.
and we can see thousands of such PDF on the Ayush Ayurveda web
Yeah.
portal,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it has to be properly conducted as per known standards, as per
Right.
agreed upon standards,
Mm.
and peer reviewed and published in a journal. We don't
Right.
have that for alternative medicines.
Yeah, and that's why, so like, if this is the base, right, where the entire concept of Ayush is being questioned and should be questioned, which is causing harm, how is it that the government is spending tax money on this to promote it? So my thing is, that's why the second reason is also important, which people don't really talk about much, which is your money, our money is being spent on this, right? And the budget is going up constantly, huh?
Yeah, every year.
So now it is like like last year they
3,600
gave like
crore.
a 220% bump
Yeah.
to the Ayush ministry, right? And
3,600 crore. Let's
yeah,
bring up the
3600 crore is,
absolute values. Yeah.
if you want to read the actual one, it's 3,647 crores,
Hmm.
right? And it went up from 2,845 crores. So that's 20% jump, right? From the last year to this year. And the interesting thing is in
You
this, I
wanna
was,
share your the whatever you're looking at? If you share the link with me, I'll try and open the whole thing.
I have shared it with you,
Okay,
Vape.
okay.
The India budget one, the first one.
First one,
Yeah.
I'll try and open this so that everyone can see. Wait,
Yeah. Boring budget documents coming up, guys.
wait. Is this? Oh, it's the same one.
Yeah, yeah, the same one that I had
Okay,
showed
okay.
you earlier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So like, if you look at it, like, so there's a revised 2022 2023, and then there is a budget 2023 and 2024,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So what usually happens when you set a budget for a ministry is that, like, the budget is always an estimate of how much the government is willing to spend on something. So the 2023-2024 budget essentially means that for this year, financial year, the government is setting aside this much money, which is 30, that figure which I read earlier,
Yep.
which is 36,047 crore for the Ayush ministry, right? So what you're looking at is just a breakdown of where that money is going to be spent, or should be spent, more like. Doesn't mean they're spending it. It means it should be spent, right? So like, it's basically just not very complicated jargon. But if you look at point number 19, there is the point number 19, Institute of Teaching and Research in Ayurveda. Yeah, you can see that in the last two columns, like, 105 was the budget earlier, 105 crore, that has gone up to 150 crore.
105 has gone to 150. Yeah.
Yeah. So like you can track the increases like this,
Hmm.
right? So to actually see where the government is spending more money when it comes to this
Hmm.
ministry, right? Another big bump that I saw was where did it go? Uh, uh, there was some support from National Institute of Homeopathy, Kolkata, 26.26, right?
Okay.
That their budget went up from 65 to
Oh,
108 crore,
damn.
right? So you can see it like this, right? And then there was like more budgetary support given to other things also. So
Hmm.
just generally showing this, like I think you can turn it off because people will run away if you show more. Uh,
Wait, wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But so the point being that this much money is being spent on, Ayush. So I just want to hear your thoughts about it though, Pranav. What do you feel about this whole situation of taxpayer money being spent on this?
So I spoke about this. So
Hmm.
I got Dr. Rohan Francis, who's a UK YouTuber also. He's
Hmm.
also a cardiologist in the UK, to talk about this. And in the UK, apparently, there's a healthcare system,
Hmm.
national system. It's a
Hmm.
socialized healthcare system they have. And they recently removed homeopathy from that
Hmm.
system completely,
Hmm.
because homeopathy apparently shows no evidence for any efficacy.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it doesn't make sense to spend taxpayer money on that.
Hmm.
In India, however, we are seeing more and more taxpayer money being thrown into
Yeah.
these same systems.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I feel like if we bring more attention to these things,
Hmm.
so I think you are a political YouTuber that
Hmm.
a lot of people look up to, or whose information a lot of people listen to. So I want you also to bring this thing
Hmm.
into the discourse of people, into what people talk about, because the fact that government is literally throwing money away
Hmm.
into
Hmm.
public money away into something like this is a matter of, you know,
Grave
everyone should be
concern.
concerned about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And if you're saying it causes active harm,
Yep.
then it
Yep.
means that my taxpayer money is being spent to cause active harm to other people,
Yep.
which is such a shitty feeling when you think about it, right? It's horrifying. And so the thing is, though, I want to also like ask you a few things here, right? Which is, um, there's this thing I was reading about mixology or something. It's basically how modern medicine and Ayurveda are being combined now to sort of have some sort of a mixed situation.
That is integrative medicine.
Integrative medicine, yes. And also the fact that the Ayush ministry has been pushing to get so they said that Ayush practitioners can do like a 3-month course and then start giving medicines, modern medicines. uh,
You know what's the problem with this?
huh.
Actual doctors undergo multiple years of residency and
Right,
actual
right,
practice before actually getting into treating patients.
right.
3-month course for Ayurveds and they can do the same thing.
Even pharmacists have a longer course, no?
I don't know about this, but yeah, I
Yeah, from
don't know.
what I know, like B Farm and all these people, they have like a big ass course for this as well. But yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying, right? And there was like this whole bawal that there was like they also like allowed some people to do surgery from the Ayush ministry, which was
Without
again.
yeah, that it's the same thing, same
Hmm.
problem as, see, residency doctors undergo multiple years of training before
Hmm.
they actually conduct their own surgeries.
Hmm.
But Ayurveda doctors, there's no such standard, there's no such protocol,
Hmm.
there's no such regulation. They can just, you know, the ministry says this and they can do whatever. That's
But
a
here's the
problem.
thing, though. I can play another thoda sa complicate it a little bit maybe. So we do have a shortage of doctors, right? We do have a shortage of massive shortage of
Uh,
doctors. We have a shortage of support staff. We have a shortage of doctors. My so not a theory, but actually I'm thinking about this in a larger sense as well, right? Which is our medical system. So if we have like X number of doctors, modern practicing modern medicine with all the trainings that they have done, right? Who are not able to serve like this giant population, does it make sense, this integrated medicine thing, which is like bringing in some practitioners who may not be trained in the same way, but at the same time have some knowledge of the human body in a different form? Does it make sense to bring them into the fold and bridge the gap a little bit? Like not maybe let them do surgery, not let them prescribe medicines, but can we think of, like, let's say dietitians, right? Now dietitians also like propose that you eat a lot of healthy food, eat a
mhm.
lot of like homemade food, which is basically what ayurveda also says in a lot of ways, right? Like have a lot of healthy food,
So,
do this, do that. So
so my answer to that would be that, see, just because modern medicine is not accessible to a
hmm,
lot of rural population, the solution to that is not handing all those patients over to alternative medicines.
true.
If in some sense you are saying that we provide more staff, more doctors, alternative medicine doctors to treat them through modern medicine,
Hmm.
why not a better solution where you spend money, you spend your public money in training people in actual modern medicine healthcare and help make this care accessible to those rural
So
populations.
no, the problem with that, Pranav, though, I mean, I understand where your argument is coming from as well, but the thing is to expand the current, training process for doctors. Of course, that is happening already. Like that's why they included the private sector into this as well, where private hospitals are running colleges and they're training their own doctors, etc.
Mhm.
So that is happening already, right? But it is not happening at the pace at which our population has been growing, right? So and obviously like doctors will create more doctors, right? But what is happening is a lot of doctors migrate to other countries, like a lot of expertise leke, they do MS outside, right? In like a different country, and then they stay there because the value of the degree there is more, right? I mean, America may, if you talk to any American, they
All
know that
Indian
Indian
doctors.
doctors are one of the top earning,
Yeah,
like people there.
yeah.
Even in the UK, the NHS employs a lot of Indian doctors, right?
This Dr. Rohan Francis, who I
Hmm.
mentioned, he was born in India only.
See, that's what I mean, right? So our training, our basic training is great. For specialization, they go outside, then they use it there, right? Yeah. What happens in India though is that doctors are concentrated in urban centers mostly, right? In India, it is so city may you will get doctors, you'll get specializations, you'll get a lot. Even tier two cities now will have a lot of those. But at the same time, nobody is going to rural areas, right? They literally have to force doctors in training to go for a rural deputation. If you do government medical
Right.
studies, which are the best, yeah, they put them for 2 years in a village or some rural posting, which then after they do that, they actually get a lot of street cred to do a degree in the US and go away. Right? I mean, like even the US medical system would appreciate people who have on ground experience, right? um so these are the problems. Which do you think, is there any way that can be filled with alternative medicine, any of these problems?
Again, I have to go back to my previous answer, which
Hmm.
was the solution to non-accessibility or non-affordability to some populations. The solution to that is not something that doesn't work,
Hmm.
right? It's the solution to that would be subsidizing to build modern
Hmm.
healthcare, to make it accessible using public money, but instead the public money is being directed to areas which we have we have plenty of evidence to show there's no point throwing more money
Right.
into
So
this.
so essentially you're saying all this budget, if it goes to like a bridge training course of sorts, right, which is longer and more
I, I wouldn't
rigorous.
even say bridge training. I'd say
Okay.
proper actual training. Like, see, another problem in India is that
Hmm.
medical entrance exams, there's only one entrance exam for Ayurveda, homeopathy, modern medicine, any alternative system. There's only one entrance exam.
Really?
Yep. So people who get the highest ranks go
Hmm.
to MBBS, rest
Okay.
go to Ayurveda or homeopathy or whatever.
Is it called BAMS if I'm
Yep,
not
yep.
wrong? BAMS,
BMS,
right?
BHMS,
Yeah, yeah.
BUMS.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, so we need to start right there.
Hmm.
It's because this entrance exam exists that people end up in homeopathy or Ayurveda or any
Hmm.
alternative system colleges. We need to prevent that from happening by having separate entrance exams. Then we should see how many people opt for these alternative
Got it.
systems. We wouldn't even need to create a bridge course to
Hmm.
if we had these separate
Hmm.
exams.
I agree with that, and then someone
But
actually on chat has suggested, can you bring a doctor to this discussion? Pranav,
we
Pranay.
we
If there is anyone on chat who is a doctor, please leave comments if we are wrong.
we should actually start addressing chat a bit.
Yeah.
Uh, then I think we'll have lots more points that we can talk about. But by the way, let's see if any doctor has replied. Don't see any. Okay.
Hmm.
I'm gonna arbitrarily start reading from here
Yeah,
because I
yeah, yeah.
can't go way back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's only one pediatrician who eats cow dung.
Hmm.
Yeah, this is a troll comment. Guys, one thing, okay. Whenever an alternative medicine doctor or someone in his family gets an actual infection or sickness, you
Hmm.
see how they treat themselves. They go to a modern medicine hospital. They don't go to their systems. Like during COVID, when Amitabh Bachchan, who promotes homeopathy all the time, when he got COVID, do you know where he went? He went to a modern medicine healthcare facility.
Absolutely. Of
So
course.
all this marketing is only so that only aimed at rural populations.
No, I
Pe-
wouldn't say that. I wouldn't though. I mean, so I agree, like a large chunk of the customer base is rural. Let's put it that way. But I think there is enough, like middle class uncles and aunties who basically, you know, go by Ayurveda. I mean, my mom including, like my mom and like my grandmother believed in homeopathy. My mom believes in Ayurveda. There is a whole yoga thing happening also on the side. All these things are very cultural, right? In a very real sense, where it the reason why I think the Ayush ministry exists as a concept is because it also fits with a certain agenda, right? Which is like a Hindu religion sort of
Promote
agenda.
culture, promote tradition, that
Promote
agenda.
culture. There is this article I was reading on WSJ about how turmeric has become a way to do soft power, turmeric and yoga, right? So for the
Just
people who
like
don't,
pandas for China.
yeah, I mean, exactly, but no, but in a very weird way, it's like all these turmeric chai teas and whatever have come up, right? um might be actually a direct result of our soft power PR, right? Which is, they are trying to now sell to white people, right? I was looking up, right, Patanjali, um because I mean it is the biggest seller of herbal ayurvedic products in India right now. There's Dabur also, but to a less extent. So
Himalaya.
yeah. Oh, Himalaya is also there, true. Patanjali is prominent, right? And I was looking at this. So did you know this? They export their fruit juices, you know and they have different labeling for the US and India. So they produce in the same place, But in India, they are promoting a lot of health benefits and culture, matlab, diet benefits. But
Because
that is appearing in the US labels.
in the US there are regulations. In the U,
Exactly.
yeah.
There are advertising regulations, and there are actually, because again, if you are claiming that you get some health benefits, and in the US they have this false claim, if you're making a false claim, they'll be apparently charged with like some $500,000
Oh,
in
the
penalty.
company.
Yeah, and so the US drug agencies actually send people here to inspect what is being exported, especially food items. So the report was about how this lady came from the US to a Patanjali production facility and found that there are two different labels for fruit
Who
juice.
made the report?
I will just take out.
Let's show the report on stream. By the way, I'll address chat in the meantime.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Ah.
guys, if you want me to address your questions, just tag me. Otherwise, yeah, it's a little hard for me. I can't go through everything because the stream will be, you know, uh,
Infinite.
2 days long. So yeah. So yeah, how did the session go? So like we were saying in the beginning of this chat, there was a Twitter Space event. How
Hmm.
did that session go? Because some people have come in the chat
Hmm.
after the session. So how did
Hmm.
that go? Tell us.
So I mean, I was listening to like I think 40 minutes of it. But so like, just to tell, Nikhilesh, I think, is who was asking, right? Nikhilesh is the person who asked. So there was like a debate between liver doctor and Ayurvedic doctor Vaidya, and they were not able to, like, the doctor was not able to prove anything to the liver doc which would convince him that Ayurveda is not a pseudoscience. the, so Pranav, tell me this. Mm, if I was an Ayurvedic doctor, right, how do I argue with you? Like, okay, it's a thought
See,
experiment.
yeah. I have an answer to your question.
Hmm.
All I need to see is evidence. All I need to see is something that you can measure,
Hmm.
something that you can detect or measure in any way, and that parameter being used to diagnose or treat or whatever.
Right.
If I see this, then that's all I need to be
Hmm.
convinced. But
Hmm.
in this Twitter space, he was not able to provide that.
He wasn't.
Let's yeah, throw 3,600 crore into getting more government MBBS colleges. Yeah, that's what
Hmm.
I want. The money
But
that's
guys,
being.
I mean, I understand. Look, so that's what I'm saying, right? I mean, sure, you can build colleges, you can increase your seats, you can do all of that. But the basic problem that we have, the reason why Ayurveda and Ayush in general is thriving in rural areas, is because they have no other option sometimes, where the modern medicine doctors are not going there, or they're not willing to stay there, right? Because their skill set is so much more lucrative and required in urban centers or in a foreign country.
Yeah.
Why would they stay there, right? Often it's like, if you want to get out of a rural situation in India, you become a doctor, right? And you get like you immediately get a lot of demand from, even tier 2 towns, or even big cities, and you can just start your career there while earning more
Yeah.
money. Because I think one thing we need to also talk about, and I don't think many people appreciate me saying this, but healthcare, needs to be a public utility,
Yeah.
treated as a public utility, right? Sure, we have
Healthcare,
private
education.
hospitals, etc., all of the things. But at the same time, I also understand the other side, which is saying that doctors also need to earn money, right? If everybody else can use their skill set to earn more money, why can't doctors do it as well, right? So there is a problem of matching these two, because if you go to a government sector, you'll be stable, but you will not earn as much money. So they start like separate practices, private practices, right? So how can you pay doctors more in government? I think that is the problem. If you say, let's say, if you transfer this 3,600 crore into just paying current doctors more
Yeah.
in government, like make it like, no, if not equal to the private sector, somewhere close to the private sector, right? Make it competitive, right? And then you will see so many people who come out of private hospitals or even government hospitals, they will be happy to join the government sector then,
Yep. Yep.
right?
Yep.
They,
I agree.
the one thing that why they don't, like, I have friends as doctors, the one reason why they didn't join any government hospital is because their colleagues who went to private practices, they're earning so much more, so they're like, क्यों करेंगे, why would
Yep.
we do
Yep.
this?
Lakshay is asking me a question. He's asking multivitamin supplements. Uh, is there any side effect?
Hmm.
So this is something I think you should ask a medical professional. I'm not the best person to answer this. Um, but yeah, I think it's any day better than using an Ayurvedic
Hmm.
supplement. Yeah.
There's
Tell you
another one.
that much.
Crocs is asking, यहाँ पे नीचे, my mother is an
Who's asking?
acupuncturist. Crocs नीचे. Well, it's all. I think you're up. I'm down. In the chat. It's
Yeah,
fine.
I'm
It's fine.
also down there. I'm also all the
Uh,
way down.
oh, okay. So there's
Oh,
a
Crocs.
question that,
Yeah, I saw
yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah, acupuncture, I'm sorry, has no evidence. It does come under alternative medicines. See, that's also another problem, okay? There are people whose professions, whose living depends upon these systems.
Oh, absolutely,
So we
absolutely.
have to do it in such a way, even if we see, it's not their fault that they were probably misinformed before they went into these
Hmm.
professions. So we have to, if we are to uh, get rid of these alternative systems in any way, we have to do it in a sensitive manner
Oh,
where
absolutely.
they also have a way of getting by. So I
Hmm.
discussed this in my Ayush video. If anyone in the chat hasn't seen it, check out my main channel, Science is Dope, Ayush video. You can see it from the thumbnail itself. There are many professions that people from alternative medicines can go into even
Hmm.
if they choose not to practice. So there are stuff like medical transcription.
Hmm.
There are things like paramedics. There are things like medical research, like
Hmm.
anything that doesn't involve directly treating a patient. That
Nursing,
they can go to nutrition, they can go to
nursing,
medical
nursing,
administration. What is that?
nursing.
Nursing.
Hmm.
Nursing, I think, yeah, there are stigmas, but yeah, like stigmas, like only women, things like
But
that.
that is another point, right? Which is, there is a shortage of doctors, but there's also a shortage of support staff, which is nursing staff. Like, I mean, you have to look at it in tandem. So that's why I was asking, right? When I'm talking about the whole bridge thing, which we were speaking about, right? So if there are people in these alternative medicines, and you're absolutely correct that these people are in the rural areas and they have done this training and they do treat people, and the reason why is because they also need an earning, right? Vaidya ji aa gaye, ya fir, whatever, there is a village vaidya, and they follow traditional medicine, of all sorts. um, of course, if there are serious injuries or if there are serious cases, they still want to take that person to a nearby hospital.
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
So,
despite the Vaidya, despite everyone else, right?
yep.
Vaidya is there for mild ailments or like some ailments which people think are mild.
So one thing I want to add one thing here. You know why alternative medicines, the domain of alternative medicines is in treating these mild cases, these
Hmm.
self-limiting diseases. It's because, see, when a patient recovers, takes a medicine and recovers, the recovery may not necessarily be due to the medicine. It can be due to change in the person's lifestyle, can be due to something else
Yeah,
the
yeah.
person took, can be due to some self-limiting, maybe over time the disease itself heals itself, like COVID-19 is an
Hmm.
example. The
Hmm.
disease resolves even if you don't treat. The disease resolves on its own over time.
Hmm.
So, such cases where the medicine does not treat, but still the patient recovers, are the domain is the domain where alternative medicine thrives. Because
So,
even if the medicine has no effect, the
hmm.
patient will still recover, and they
But
can claim, "Hey, my medicine cured this
precisely,
person."
precisely. Here's the thing, right? So, for example, lifestyle diseases, right? Like, let's say, fatty liver, or like, or like
Obesity.
obesity, right? So what happens when you go to a doctor is, if it's in severe category, like after doing tests, they will prescribe a medicine, right? But in my experience, like I have had like some issues, lifestyle disease issues, right? When I went to the doctor, he was like, listen, you're young right now, you're like in your like early 30s, so we are going to change your diet and we are going to do exercise, right? That is the two things you have to do regularly now, right? And there's no option, your body is dying. I mean, like, you're past your age and your body is slowly dying, and now all you can do is, try to make it not die as fast as possible. So he's like, change your lifestyle, change your, and he gave me certain very solid things: don't eat red meat, don't drink, don't do of exercising, all of the things. If I follow that, right, my thing will improve. Now, if I add Ayurvedic medicines on top of that, it will still improve. I mean,
Yep,
like,
yep. But
but
the thing with Ayurveda is that they also take credit.
exactly, exactly. So like, so what I did was, I'm following this whole thing, but now I got like these. I don't know where I got them from. Some Fab India thing, which my mom said. There are these pills which are like stress relief and whatever, whatever, like Ayurvedic pills. Okay. So I got them, and I've been taking them as well, sometimes once in a while, right? And I was like, matlab, even if it's like some sort of a placebo, I feel it's okay. I will not credit it. Maybe मैंने मेहनत की है, boss. Like, that medicine did nothing, but still, in a very weird way, uh, it is making me comfortable. And the strange thing is, when I was young, my mom had taken me to a Ayurvedic doctor for a while, right? And whenever I used to get sick, whenever I used to something used to happen, and now that Ayurvedic doctor is also a family friend, right? And they were friendly. It's very weird. He used to do this, so he would put his palm on my thing, and
Nadi
then like do
pulse.
something like this
Yeah,
motion,
check your
right?
pulse.
Check my pulse, and like in literally 5 minutes, he would tell you that this is wrong with you, right? And then he would take out like a dabba from piche, which would have like multiple herbs, I'm guessing. He would mix them and then pack them and then give it to us, right? So like, have it 3 times a day, this one pudi with like water, all the things, right?
This is what is lack of regulation.
Yeah.
Exactly this. People
And
shouldn't be allowed to do this.
but that's the thing, right, Pranav? Like, I mean, my mom believed in it. That's why, as a child, because I had no agency, I was made to believe in it, right? I didn't know any better. It was like magic, dude. For me, it was genuinely magic. Like, he went in, like, if I went to a normal doctor, they will probe me, they will do like all sorts of things which would make me uncomfortable. But this guy just calmly like looks at, like, takes my pulse, like does like something, no, 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 for 5 minutes, and that's done. It's so calm, it's so nice. I'm not intimidated at all. He will give me a something like a candy after that, and he would be very jokey and jovial. I liked going to him as a kid. Think about it that way, right? He had created an environment which was very welcoming for people like me who genuinely didn't like going to doctors. I mean, yeah.
But lucky for him, you probably had some not so serious illness which
Yes,
probably resolved on its own. If it was
obviously.
something serious, then his what his the thing is, he'll still be saved. because this case will never see the light of day. What happened to you, that news will never come out. Because for a newspaper, news
Hmm.
agency, I don't see what they can gain. If they can gain viewership or if they can gain more sales by
Hmm.
reporting such a news.
There's another example I can give you, right? So my mom is a big Ayurveda believer. My grandmother is a homeopathy believer, right? She has like all these weird sounding chemical medicines in her cupboard. Used to, I mean, she's passed. She used to take us to this one doctor. I will not name them. Very big homeopathy doctor in Nagpur. Um, there was a waiting, like 200 people he took in one afternoon, right? Outside his clinic, there would be like this snaking line of 200 people. And he basically diagnosed all of them in like under 2 to 3 hours, right? But you had to book an appointment. He would do it once in the morning and he would do it once in the evening, right? It was very difficult to get a slot, right? The thing is, if you see so many people dying to get him and his attention and his cure, you almost start thinking in your head that इतने लोग तो पागल नहीं हो सकते ना, these many
Yeah.
people can't be wrong. And that effect is so well built wahan pe, you know, like, so there is no line outside my general physician's clinic, to be completely fair, right? But there is a giant line outside this homeopathy person. What is happening, right? Even the Ayurved fellow had at any given point of time 20 people waiting, and he would get rid of them in 5 minutes, right? All of them would give, like, also the fees are very less.
Oh, yeah.
The fees of that doctor I'm mentioning, the homeopathy doctor, would be $50. If you go to a general physician, it would be $300. I mean, back then when I was a kid, right? So a lot of people who cannot afford to go there also will also go there. So these are the conditions that I feel like there's so much happening here, right? To counter like an Ayush, to counter like, yeah, I mean, you can do like Twitter debates, sure, but at the same time, you also have to approach it with some empathy, as you said it, because
Yeah.
these people
Yeah.
have created a reputation, man.
Yeah.
They have a lot of validation from their community.
But the reputation also is so strong only because people are misinformed. People
Sure,
are, yeah,
I get
that's the
that.
thing.
That's what I'm saying, right? I get what you're saying. But then if you have to redirect that traffic to somewhere else, which is
Yeah.
a non-misinformed area, you have to think of it that way as well. You know, like, how much are you charging for a patient, right? Why are these people going there? What is it about them that is attractive that can also be maybe made attractive in other places of, hospitals or whatever? Um,
Yeah. Let's address some chat.
yeah.
I think we've kind of been talking too much. So, yeah, yeah, it's a start for sure, bro. Vishal. Vishal says throw the 3,600 crore onto modern medicine.
Yeah.
Um, Wait, where was I? Think I was somewhere here. Yep. According to you, what is the most effective reform that is required to increase the importance of evidence-based medicine? Yeah, I think it's policy. I think it's regulations. Regulations that that say that hey, you meet the standard and then you can treat,
Hmm.
not regulations that say that hey, we'll create a ministry for these schools and we'll protect them from safety regulations, efficacy proof, all these things. Yeah. I'm just looking at comments where people have tagged me. Okay, I think you can see comments where
Yeah.
people have tagged you.
I
More
can see. I can
supplement.
see. I'm also looking. Yeah.
Pranay asks, most supplements are not absorbed well unless deficient to not use. Yeah, yep.
Hmm.
I think he's trained in medicine. Rohit says, I was having a common flu since last 2 days. Someone suggested I gargle with toothpaste and water. I was like, what? See, this person probably suggested that.
Toothpaste and water.
Yep. This person probably suggested that because for whatever reason he tried it and he recovered.
Ah,
So
but that can't be like that's the anecdotal evidence that
exactly.
yeah,
That's a
yeah.
problem with personal experience. We call
Hmm.
that anecdotal evidence.
Yeah.
You cannot generalize from anecdotal evidence of experience of one person because there may be many factors that led to that person's recovery.
Hmm.
Could be diet, could be lifestyle change, could be some other
Hmm.
medication, could be time, could be some other disease different from this other person who's being advised. So
Hmm.
all these factors. Thomas,
Pranav, I had an idea.
yeah,
I think we should work on a long form video on this. Uh,
yeah, we can do that.
what I mean is what you just said. No, it just gave me an idea. The anecdotal evidence part, and also what is the reality that we have in the medical system, which is, as I pointed out, shortage of doctors, all the things, right? Because I think we need to look at these two things together.
You wanna collab? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah. Let us
You
let
heard
us
it
let us
here,
figure it
folks.
out.
First, we're gonna collab.
We'll figure that
Yeah,
out.
for
But I
sure.
think it's worth talking about because
Yeah,
I can bring the policy part of it and you can bring the actual science part of it, and that will be very good. Like, because I think the holistic view is very required. No, like for example, you are talking about how as a basic science it doesn't work,
yeah, yep.
right? But at the same time, people don't seem to care also, right? Because Bap Dada and all these cultural people have told them that this is the way to go, and they're just going. Um, so what is a way in which we can prevent them or redirect them towards modern medicine? I think that is the question that
Yep,
is need
yep,
that needs to be answered on a policy level. Um, might be worth looking into.
yep. We'll do that, dude.
Yeah,
Let's talk after the
yeah.
stream. Thomas says, I've spoken to a current doctor and they are fine with Ayurveda. Do you think doctors uh, should be cautioning patients against Ayurveda as Ayurveda pros defame
Hmm.
allopathy? So, see, the problem here again is multifactorial, okay? Some doctors themselves are misinformed because they don't learn in medical school how alternative medicine, despite inefficiencies, how it survives, how people think alternative medicine works on them.
Hmm.
They're not taught this. So doctors, some doctors are misinformed. I've
Do you
had a
think?
doctor tell me to
Hmm.
take some kashayam or some Ayurvedic whatever because I know that he was misinformed. He
Hmm.
probably learned this in his childhood and he's giving that advice to other people. And
But
now,
Pranav, so do you think that what you said earlier actually makes sense here, right? Which is the certification, right? The exams that make it a course and then you get a degree,
yep,
right?
yep.
Do you
They
think,
legitimize. That's
yeah,
right.
so in a modern medicine space where there are actual doctors, do you think this getting a degree process just legitimizes it in that crowd?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So when a patient sees that this person has a homeopathy degree,
Hmm.
doesn't that validate it even more in their eyes? That's
Yeah, of course, but not the patient, but also the doctors. I'm talking about the doctors, right? As
so.
that person said, that the doctor believes in, like, and not believes, but says there is nothing wrong with Ayurveda, right? And they maybe sometimes validate Ayurveda, right? Do you think it's
Yeah.
also the result of that, which
Maybe it
is,
does. I think that's another factor. Like I
hmm,
said, it's multifactorial, right?
hmm,
Their misinformation, their influence from childhood, and them seeing that there are degree courses for these, degree qualifications for these
hmm.
professionals. Yeah, all this plays as a factor. Why is Neeraj asks, why is Ayurveda being believed only by religious people?
Is
Because
it?
I don't think it's being believed only by religious
Hmm.
people, but they're mostly prone to it because this religious thinking is coming from a place that's not evidence based.
It's faith based.
Yeah, faith based. And
Yeah.
that's the same basis on which a lot of these alternative medicines function.
Oh yeah,
Faith
absolutely.
based thinking. Yeah.
Um, faith based, right? So, for example, the fact that even like there's this big debate about Ramayana being a historical thing or just a religious text, right? Which is a myth. Uh, the thing is that if you have faith in something, you would very easily accept that it's a historical thing that has actually happened. It's the same thing with Ayurveda, I'm guessing, which is
Yep.
if you have faith that this is going to cure you or it cured someone around you, then you're more likely to go into it as well.
Uh, Rath asks, US FDA finds different dietary medicinal claims on Patanjali products, Business Standard article from 2019.
Hmm.
Do you want us to open something? Do you want us to see
That's the
something
one
there?
that I sent you.
Okay, okay.
That's the quint one that I sent you. That's what he's talking about.
So, Spoidermon asks, Ayurveda, despite its ancient origins, can be seen as a form of statistical reasoning. Please elaborate, Spoidermon. What do you mean? Oh, he said something else. While not modern science, Ayurveda relies on centuries old trial and error
Trial and error
process.
process.
We spoke about this and we spoke about what the problem with trial and error is. It doesn't
Hmm.
take into account human cognitive biases. It doesn't take into account other factors which may influence recovery other than the medicine. So these are the problems with normal trial and error.
But also the trial and error process. Um, would you so if you are doing something with like traditional trial and error process, right? You cannot also justify spending money on it. For example, like so whenever correct me if I'm wrong, so whenever a research is commissioned, right, they have to also look at the study and how it is being conducted, and it has to basically then make sense to a peer reviewed group, and then the money is given to it like as a donation or whatever, like
No,
whatever.
no, dude. I think peer review and everything happens after the study is conducted and
But the
results
funding
are.
for the study, no, I'm
Money
talking
is
about the
given
funding for
at the
the study.
beginning, right? Funding is given before the study takes
So,
place.
like when the research proposal goes, is this how, like basically you have
No,
to
no.
explain to the funder, right, how you're doing the research, and then they
So
will fund
at
it.
the time of research proposal, peer review, there's no peer review.
Oh, okay, fair enough. But there is some criteria that they have to meet to get the funding, right?
They just have to convince the funder that this
Yeah.
is worth funding.
Yeah,
That's it.
and then after the research paper comes out is when you start peer reviewing and the
Yep.
process
Yep.
and all the things, right?
Yep.
In all of these Ayush, no, I'm not even calling them sciences. This Ayush category of things, uh, i- like what is the process they follow when they have to get research funding? Is my question. So because I'm asking this because आयुष मिनिस्ट्री के बजट में there is a significant chunk of budget actually being given to these research institutes. So what do you think is the way they get money now?
So again, I'm not entirely certain about this because I
Hmm.
haven't looked into the actual process. But judging by what I do know, I would say that what they do is since they're getting funding from the Ayush ministry itself
Hmm.
directly, they just have to show the Ayush ministry, hey, this is what we plan to do, these are the things, and then without any scientific overview of that
Hmm.
process, they'll show it. The Ayush ministry gets convinced, and they probably give the funding. That's what I think goes on.
Hmm. But that's very. Yeah, I mean, I get what you mean.
Yeah, but that's I know that has flaws,
Hmm.
but for a body that's trying to promote uh, these alternative systems, whenever they see that there is this research that can be done, if I give them money, then they'll fund it, right? Because for them,
Mm.
it's promotion, it's PR.
Yeah, it's promotional. Yeah.
Yeah,
So the money is being spent for PR more than. So
yeah,
the research is a form of PR.
yeah. So the criteria for their research studies are so relaxed that at the end, when they get the results, they'll always be in favor of the medication of the whatever research is being done, rather than actually researching the, whatever parameters they're analyzing.
Fair point. Fair point. Yeah.
Yep.
Got it.
Yes, Pardaman, I think I answered your question. He's asking again. Um,
Acha, Pranav, I have to make an exit.
oh,
Uh,
cool. No issues. I'll
yeah.
just answer some more
Yeah,
of
yeah,
these
yeah.
questions.
Yeah. Uh,
And I think we'll end the stream by 9:30. Oh,
sure.
people are already leaving, dude.
Oh,
So, yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe I meant
but
also
answer a few
exit.
questions and then go.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
will do that.
Okay.
See you, man.
Yeah.
No,
So
no
see you.
worries.
Thanks for this,
Yeah, yeah.
Pranav. This was fun.
We'll
Uh,
discuss the thing we
Collab
talked
thing.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I think that's a great idea. I'm very intrigued by it now.
See you, man.
Bye,
Yeah,
man.
bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Yep.
Bye, guys. Bye, chat. See you. Oh, sorry. Before I go,
Yeah.
just wanted to tell chat. So on Monday, Pranav, I'm also doing a week-long stream.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the special session of Parliament is starting on Monday.
Wait, week
Uh,
long as in a
as in, like,
stream
I
that's a
will
week
be.
long
No,
or
no, I'm not
every
going to keep
day?
it on constantly,
Okay.
but I'm going to basically be online for a significant amount of time through the day while I'm watching
That's good.
Parliament.
That's gonna be
Um,
good.
so so it would be fun. I mean, like, so if
Yeah,
you
I'll
are
join in
interested,
whenever I have.
yeah.
Yeah.
So chat, if you're interested, come in. It's only for members. So please come in and join.
Oh, it's only. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Will.
because there's a reason.
Okay.
Prasar Bharati started sending me copyright strikes, man, and
Yeah.
I have to put it behind a membership wall. Otherwise, they will be like,
Uh,
I can't show ads on that.
okay. Okay.
So can't help it, guys. Can't help it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
makes sense.
see you.
Yeah. See you, man.
Bye.
Bye. So, wait. Think this should work. Wait. Uh, if I take this window here, yeah, that should work. Yeah. So Spider-Man. I'm oversimplifying, but the viewpoint is that I think you didn't see the beginning of the stream. Also, I addressed this point. Yeah, Spider-Man spoken about this. Oh, there's a super chat which says, why not live on SID? So the reason is this is a very unorganized, improvised live stream, right? I want that channel to be more scripted, organized, planned. That's a main reason. I hope you find that a good enough reason. And that was Rath. Oh, Rath, are you Bhagat? I do remember you. Yes. Bhagat was one of my earliest supporters, guys, when I had like 300 subs or something. So, yeah, Lakshya asks, few temples are full of people. Oh, there's a. Yeah,
Why not
what?
live on Sid channel would have reached more people.
Yeah, yeah. I that was Bhagat, his super chat. I answered you already. Lakshya asks, a few temples are full of people rotating their head. They believe they have God inside them. Is this all real? See, I would say it's all acting. If they claim that it's real, then they have to demonstrate or show any evidence to convince someone who is skeptical. Otherwise, what's the difference between them and someone who's schizophrenic or hallucinating something? Um, Pranay asks, Kashayam does help with inflammation, but using on osmotic differential, using an osmotic differential, are you talking about osmotic pressures? Pressure differential, similar to, yeah. Bro, I will need you to elaborate a bit because I are you in Ayurveda? Oh, so Kashayam, can you elaborate a bit? Not a fan of Ayurveda. I'm a surgeon. He says. I will need you to elaborate a bit. Arjun, who's a member, asks, are Ayurveda medicines harmless in moderate levels? See, again, it'll depend on a case by case basis. I cannot make a generalized statement for all Ayurvedic medicines. Maybe some are harmless. But the fact that there are a few medicines that are not regulated that are harmful, people take it and end up with liver injury and need to get liver transplants, that itself is a problem. Vishal asks, research proposal also needs probable cost to be funded. Yeah, see, the thing is, if they say that this is the cause or this is the reason, how is a ministry which is not a scientific body, how are they going to uh, verify this cause that they mentioned? Oh, wait,
I am not. You mistaking me for someone.
is there a, oh, got a super chat. Oh, sorry about that, man. I thought you were him. So, guys, I'll have to end the stream at 9:30. Fake strike on your channel. Yeah. Yeah, I also want to see. Then I'll have actual evidence for something I don't believe in. I know that the so-called research and AYUSH ministry gets funding up to 5 crore rupees for each research. Yeah, man. How do you know this? May I ask? Did I miss any? No. The genuine researcher don't get basic funding for their work. Yeah, it's a problem. Ruth. Vishnu Deep asks, today saw Sadhguru promoting mercury consumption. Yep. Mercury is treated as an ingredient, as a genuine ingredient in some Ayurvedic formulations. So, yeah. Let me move this window a bit. Okay. But how do you tackle the right wing? I think people need to be informed. The right wing, they're able to get away like this because people are misinformed and they are spreading more and more misinformation. The only solution, in my opinion, is people need to be informed. Ex-Hindu, now atheist, asks, Balkrishna of Patanjali fell sick in 2019 after eating some prasadam during Krishna Jayanti. He got admitted to AIIMS. In Rishikesh, he did not. See, that's the thing. So, they themselves will get modern healthcare, but they'll market their alternative systems to misinformed people. Just for fun, asks, what's your thoughts on gender abolition? Wait, gender abolition? What do you mean? Yeah, I think this is a whole different topic. I don't want to talk on this because I'm not well informed. But if you want to, I always recommend this one video. There's one by a YouTuber called Forrest Valkai called Sex and Sensibility. I'd say watch that video and you'll be more informed on some questions you may have. Only reason why Ayurveda is supported is because political relevance. Yeah, the government uses that to ride on the sentiments of people who believe those ideas. Rath in sends 100 rupees super chat. He says, "Now I'm thinking I shouldn't have corrected you." Yeah, you could have, bro. Okay. Yeah, Pranay, he's a modern medicine surgeon. Kasham is. That's a same super chat.
Now I am thinking I shouldn't have corrected you. I could have taken credit for long time support.
Yep,
Smiley
yep,
face.
he could have. You know what? I'll actually close this and go to this. I think it should work right now. Hmm? Okay, one sec, guys. I'm fixing this. Fuck, man. Shit, I shouldn't have closed the call. One sec. I'll try and make sure. Shit, I've lost camera. Guys, I think I might as well end it here. There's no point in going on. I closed the Google Meet window. So it's gone. It's all gone. All you can see is chat. I don't think people want to continue with just audio and chat. So I'm going to end it here. I hope you guys had fun. Maybe I'll talk about this a little more, maybe in future. But for now, that's it, guys. See you.